What's going on with everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is not another progress video. I actually posted one yesterday. I'm gonna end up posting another one later on because I'm having a family session later on. So y'all be on the lookout for that one right there. I probably posting that one Thursday. You know, um, because I'm doing all that in the evening time. Not like I don't know if y'all know now, but I always post my videos, premiere my videos at 12 noon. So I'm not gonna post them with no. I'm just gonna straight go ahead and just post it once I get done with this video. But before I ended up in the hospital, I had a full-time job. I worked for the federal government. And I also was doing DoorDash and Uber Eats on the e-bike, So with that being said, once I get back on my feet and get myself back right, I'm gonna start back doing DoorDash and Uber Eats on my bike. But I did an interview with Wild Hustle. Anybody who in the e-bike world know who Wild Hustle is. He out of Florida. He got a huge following. Shout out to Wild Hustle. And I did a podcast interview with him, and which is on my channel. Y'all check it out. So I sent him I sent him a message on one of his videos, and I told him one day, I better, cause I thought that that I had a huge following, and to be on his channel, cause almost everybody that he did interviews with, podcast interview with, had a huge following and things like that. So he said, one day it's not guaranteed. And I just while Jose, if you watching this, man, I still communicate with you and things like that. And he said one day it's not guaranteed. I almost had that one day, but anyway, so he said it ain't guaranteed you can come on real soon. He gave me a date and a time or whatever. So we ended up doing it. So I was telling him about my experience on e-bikes and doing food deliveries, and for like he gave me a lot of insight and things like that. By me being green in the e-bike community, is a lot of stuff I ain't know, because I told him that, the bike that I currently have, I just got, it was 3 different models, which I ain't know. And which is I got a DTT8, a DTTZH. I'm sorry. So, kind of find out, I know it's coming. Kind of find out coming 3 models. He also got one of them bikes, but he got the Pro. I just know about the L6 and the L6S. So I just went to L6, cause really just because of money, I just spent out flat out on that bike, and so I started doing that right there. So like I said, I was green and didn't know. He said, and he told me that not to give, not get my, told it, his viewers, not, if you're gonna get an e-bike, get it from manufacturer. So when I get back on my feet, don't give me another bike, but I'm gonna get my bike to him. And a lot of my stuff that I do use in my food delivery for, like, my bags and, the stuff that I use, I got my bag off of Amazon, because I use a backpack. I got a real rate, but, you got pretty much, I got the real rate from the people that, the company of the bike. But you got damn near it don't align right. So you know you gotta maneuver it around. So I took it off, and so once I figured out how to get it on, so then till then I'm using my backpack. So and a lot of other stuff that I use for, like I use shrink wrap. And I got that idea out of the guy out of Chicago named Eddie Benitez. Shout out to Eddie Benitez because he also uh, I started watching his videos. You know, after I had ordered my bike, saying what I did, Wild Hustle. Wild Hustle was the first one who videos I came across because he did like I told him when I was on his podcast. You know, he was doing something, the $1,000 challenge because he had to make so much, trying to make $1,000 in 22 days, and his goal was to make $50. So I watched the other one, so that kind of gave me the idea, of doing DoorDash and Uber Eats. So like I said, if you in the e-bike community, you should know who Wild Hustle said, his 1 year anniversary, coming up on him, off his channel. Congratulations to your brother. We're gonna talk soon, but like I told you, like as soon as I get out here, I got to share my story with you again, man. Like you gave me a lot of insight. And so I've been watching, like I said, a couple of guys out of Chicago, Eddie Benitez and Turbo Montana. And like I said, Wild Hustle gave me, while I was doing on the podcast, he gave me a lot of insight. And them guys out of Chicago also gave me a lot of, insight on like different stuff. And, I just want to know I appreciate y'all, man, even though y'all don't know. And then, there's the other guy, he out of Texas, Houston, Texas, Dude Moto. Shout out to Dude Moto. Man, you rock, man. So these four guys' names I just mentioned, then I started following other, I get in the comments, I interact with other people that be in their comments and things like that and stuff. So I just recently, Wild Hustle just recently did it, dropped another podcast video just last night for this guy named Yes No 20. Y'all, y'all check him out, man. He dope, man. I'm being interactive. I started interacting with him. Matter of fact, I just started watching his video probably like a few days. I forgot how I came across the channel. But shout out to Yes No 20. Congratulations. He was another one of Wild Hustle subscriber. So I was being funny last night when I was on the podcast. I was interacting. So Wild Hustle said that he was the second one of his subscribers he'd have had on his channel. So I was being funny. Said, yeah, I done started something. He said, yes, you did. So just him acknowledging that, man, like by him saying that, I feel some type of way, I guess it's I'm proud of myself and things like that, because I started something with somebody and he took off with it, so then know that he gonna make that a thing. And congratulations to you, man. Like your subscribers, what I'm saying, just like I was, and they need a lot of insight, because you've been doing this a long time, and like other e-bike riders and DoorDashers and things of that nature. So man, like I was told him, what's going on? Yeah, but like I was saying, when I get back on my feet and things like that, I want to have a whole e-bike community in the city, at least about once a month. We all get together in downtown Mobile and have some lunch, and meet up somewhere, have some lunch, and tell our stories and things like that and stuff. So like I was telling Wild Hustle, my whole mission, cause e-bike's not real big in Mobile, not real big in Mobile County, nothing like that. So I'm seeing a few people since I got my bike riding e-bike before. I even first ordered some food, and I'm saying that the guy was on a bicycle. And when I'm thinking like he said it's gonna take like 20 something minutes. The area that they was in, where they gonna pick the food up, and I said it's gonna take more than 20 something minutes down the bicycle. So when they got to me, they was on the e-bike. So that was the first time I ever, I've been ordering stuff off Uber Eats, since COVID, you know. So, about everything being shut down and things like that, everybody had to pretty much isolate themselves. A lot of people would use DoorDash and Uber Eats. So I was already using Uber, for means of transportation. So, cause I ain't had no car. But anyway, long story short, like I told Wild Hustle, my whole mission is to have a whole e-bike community in Mobile County or in the surrounding areas. So if you in Mobile County, and you stay anywhere across the bay, let's get together, let's brainstorm and put together like a e-bike rally, some that the city never seen before. So comment, if you down, comment. Once I get what I ain't gonna say now, but once I get myself back once I get myself back on my feet anyway. So you can still comment, subscribe if you got a YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel. We can have a whole community going on in the city. As they ain't never seen before. Like we have all the other festivities and like we had the chili cookout, the Cajun cookout, something like that. But we need to have something for e-bikes also. I went to I missed the chili cookout, but I went to the Cajun cookout and I seen a couple of girls, ladies on the e-bikes and things like that. So I had wanted to talk to them, and and I want to talk to. If I see somebody, and then I'm start doing street interviews and things like that and stuff. That's another thing I'm start also doing in downtown Mobile. And for like, I got a lot of plans for my channel, man. I'm not just gonna focus on e-bikes and doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. I got so much more that I want to do, post on my channel. But I ain't gonna put too much out. It's something that me personally I want to do. And that's the whole e-bike community thing, like I said. But I got so much more for the channel. I got big ideas for the for my channel. But y'all be on the lookout for it though, man. It's coming. I just ain't talking. It's real life. And the mentality that I have, that I've been having, stuff that I could turn stuff, people say they want to do something, then they don't really do it. They just you can't make a idea. You gotta make an idea. First is a dream, then it can turn into an idea. Till you take that idea and you put it to motion. Into that motion, once you put it into motion, it's reality. If that makes sense. So, once again, if you in the city of Mobile County, or Baldwin County, and you see the video, watch the whole thing till you get to this part right here, and let's get some cooking. Cause like I said, I got big ideas and things like that, man. I want everybody to be a part of it, because the city small, but the state big. You feel me? So I just want to say shout out to Wild Hustler, Eddie, El Benitez, Turbo Montana, and Dude Moto. Man, y'all rock, man. I watch, I watch y'all videos every day. Turbo, man, look, I ain't know that you were down, man, but you gonna bounce back. Uh, Wild Hustle, happy anniversary, to your channel, man. Uh, y'all, you, Eddie, Turbo, y'all really inspire me, man. The do gig work and the grind before I had my little accident. So that's all, man. I just wanna go ahead and say what I had to say, and hope hopefully one day, once I bounce back, I get on Fernando, aka Wild Hustle. Y'all check out his channel, man. Y'all check out all these guys' channel, man. Like, um, and then you should not to mention Andy, aka Resperide, Chris Cross. Y'all check them guys out too, man. They really big in the e-bike community. Peace out.